Hello, my name is Eldon Betz, and if you're watching this, you've most likely heard of my infamous comic series, Terriful Comics. Well, today I thought I'd sit down and explain what it is, why it is, how it is, and why I named the series that, because nobody knows what that word means except for me, and I don't even know what it means. Anyway, so I think I'll start off with saying, what is Terriful? Well, Terriful is an anthropomorphic cat, which means a cat with human-like features. You know, this basically. I don't know. I know it's terrible lighting, but you can see it, right? So you've got eyes, human, mouth, human, nose, human. Well, cats have it too, but it's more human based. Arms, stands up, and then as for cat features, he's got a tail. He has retractable claws. He's got fangs. He's got cat hair. He's got fur, although you can't see it, and he's got ears, cat ears, of course. So why Terriful? Well, because he's terrible. I'm just kidding. Um, Terriful is a cat. I love cats. I love comics. Put those two together, you have Terriful. Um, how Terriful? Well, oh, I see the pun I just made. Anyways, so it's pretty terrible. How terrible is it? Pretty terrible. Why to name the series Terriful? Well, we'll start by telling a story. Once upon a time in the magical dreamland of a year ago, or almost 2 years. Wow, time flies. Back in 2013, when I was still going to school with a few of my other characters, I met this guy who was pretty good at drawing, and so I said, "Hey, would you draw my comic series for me?" He's like, "Sure, I will do it." Anyways, so long story short, I basically told him this idea I had been pondering in my mind, and it was Terriful. Well, little did I know that it was gonna be Terriful. I didn't know at the time what it was gonna be, except it was an anthropomorphic cat fighting a fat cyborg. It still continues to this day, that plot. But I think the original name of the series was supposed to be Terrible Comics, but I wasn't I wasn't the slowest talker in the world, so it came out Terriful, and I think I just stuck with it from there on. And after a whole bunch of time, it just evolved and became what you see today. So, what else would you like to know? Oh, you want to know how many characters there are, and what they are, and what they do? Well, let's go through each of them. Terriful, anthropomorphic cat, basically what you just saw earlier. Siegfried, fat cyborg, who fights Terriful and has a Mega Buster on his arm. I'm just kidding. It's a colored gray, so it's not copywriting. I'm watching you, Capcom. I'm just kidding. No, he doesn't have a Mega Buster on his arm. He's just got some arm cannon. I don't know how that and where that came from, but the original the original design of Siegfried had like a rocket arm. So you had like three fingers, but they were all rockets. So they were sort of like this, and each one of them shot out or something. I can't remember. See, who else do we have? We have Eric and Clifford. Those are based off of two of my real life friends. They also starred in one of my previous comic series, The Man in Black, and I transferred them over to Terriful because they were two of the most well developed characters that I had at the time. And so after I don't know, about a year of just them sitting in the back, I said, "Hey, I need more characters for Terriful." Well, let's pull out those two. And there they go. Um, we they also run the Legion of Darkness, which is a sort of military group that well, they live in a mountain. Yes, I didn't get that off the Hobbit. Um, but yeah, their base is primarily in a mountain, and they're very skilled in technology. Especially Clifford, he's a scientist. Eric is the very hothead, very I don't care person. Um, yeah, they do that. They have over about 900 troopers, whatever you want to call them, that that do whatever they want. But their main leader is the robot clone version of Terriful, which I call Terrorful. Now, it's not the best name to do. It's not the best name to do, but it's supposed to be confusing because Terriful was originally created by Siegfried to wipe out all the cat people, and they wanted to that didn't work. They wanted to have a failsafe by blaming everything that Terriful does on Terriful. So the reason why the name is so similar is so that the people Siegfried and his commissioners were I don't know. That's the only word I can think of. Those are the only few people that actually know what the name is and how they can distinguish between it. We also have Dr. Drillick, who resides somewhere in a desert in a city underneath a pyramid. He is a scorpion, and he has a drill for an arm. Literally, like his arm like cuts off like right here, and then from the rest down is a drill. Very, very strategic for battle. We also have some other characters working in the works that'll be introduced either later or never or soon. One of those three. So you have that. Everybody's been wondering when's the first comic gonna come out. Well, it's difficult. I mean, I have it penciled, I have it inked, and I'm starting on coloring. I can't. It takes forever to color, especially with something as Microsoft Paint and Fire Alpaca. I bet you don't know what Fire Alpaca is. Um, but yeah, it's kind of difficult coloring those because my lines are so uneven and so they have such small spaces at certain points that I have to no, long story short, I've been working hard on it and it's gonna be out soon. I don't know when soon, and I can't say it's gonna be within the next few months or so for my sanity, but I'm gonna push it and it will be out this year. And if it's not, everybody gets a free copy. Yes, including you and you and you. Anyways, so what can you expect from Terriful once it's released? Well, the first issue was written um hmm, at the very beginning of 2014, right after I had just wrapped up my series, The Man in Black. What can you expect from that comic? Well, it's very, very serious, and it's not as lighthearted and punny as my most recent comics have been, the daily comics. So you could expect that to be a little bit more serious than the rest of the series will be. The second one is a little bit less uptight and a little bit less serious. But the third one, same as the second one. But the fourth one is exactly what you know. All puns, all games, and yeah. So we expect to start out serious and go to lighthearted and go to funny, then drop to serious again, then just continue. I mean, Terriful's life is just terrible. Anyways, so yeah, it's about it. I got nothing else to say. I mean, went over why Terriful, how Terriful. We also went over when Terriful and why I named him that. We never we never discussed why I named the character Terriful. Let's do that. So the reason why Terriful's name is Terriful is because I can't. My previous comic series, The Man in Black, he had no name except the Man in Black, and I wasn't very good at defining names or defining characters, and they were basically just stick figures waltzing around and doing all these actions and very cheesy stuff. And believe it or not, that was a year and a half ago that was all that stuff, and now you guys see what I can do, and it's kind of like so. I guess I don't remember much about the day that Terriful was officially born, but it went something like I said. My friend drew a new comic series I had an idea for, and I came up with the name of Terriful Comics, and he fights a fat cyborg. Um, and Terriful surprisingly didn't actually appear in his first issue, which at that time I wrote every single comic on lined paper, and so I don't know. Surprisingly, he didn't actually appear in his first issue. He actually appeared in The Man in Black with a crossover because I was so into the idea of Terriful that I just said, let's do this. I don't care about the first issue. We can deal with that later. Just focus on getting Terriful into the Man in Black with a crossover. So that's that's what happened, and I keep avoiding the purpose of why I named him Terriful. So as I said, I really didn't have a name for him, and so I basically just looked at the comic and I said, I can't name him. I can't name him comics. I can't name him. I can't name him number 52. I can't name him the Man in Black. I'll name him Terriful. That's basically how I named him. It wasn't, and I just stuck with it. Most of the stuff I stuck with. Uh, last thing, I'll give you a little history on Terriful. So as you know, I I did the crossover with him and the Man in Black. That lasted for about one issue on line paper with about 6 or 10 pages. I think it was somewhere closer to 10, maybe around 15. After that, there was originally supposed to be a part two, but school had ended for the summer, and I didn't get to see my friend again until next year. And so that it just sort of died off after that, and the Men in Black unofficially ended with that number 52. I did, however, a couple weeks ago write part two, and I am currently online pieces of paper, and I'm currently trying to write the officially finish the Man in Black series because that was my first series I had created when I was 10. Um, so with Terriful, after everything happened and school just came out, I mean, I sat over the summer. I used line paper just to draw little teaser posters. Basically, no one knew about Terriful except for me, him, and my advisory class. Advisory class is just where we all sit together, yell at each other, and talk to each other, and don't really do anything. Um, do homework and stuff like that. Anyways, so afterwards, Terrifil just sort of like just died off, and and so did the Man in Black. But that following Christmas of 2013, I used the Man in Black again, and he basically got another four-story arc that I try to sort of reboot him into into a more developed series, more like Marvel Comics, more action instead of just stick figures, and that lasted for about 4 issues. It was supposed to be one in a series of arcs, which I had planned out all the way to like 2020, and I was so excited because I had planned so far ahead, and I was like, man, this is a lot easier than I thought. Um, but after that four-story arc, I want to do the fifth one, but I during the time I was drawing this, I was doing more research of the comic process, and I realized, oh, you have to ink it, then you have to color it, then you have to publish it, and it went too much for my head, and so I started inking it, and I started coloring the pages right after they were inked, and it didn't work, and I got caught up with other stuff school wise, and Men in Black sort of died off after that fourth issue. There was originally a fifth one where he goes to space. I mean, like, it was interesting. So, fast forward now, maybe about a few months later, I still draw the Man in Black, and it's now 2014. And during that time that I was writing the 4 issue story arc, I was hold on, I just have to rethink my memories. I was writing the first issue of Terriful, which was pulled from the Man in Black. Like, the issue wasn't like a story from the Man in Black, but the seriousness of it and the tone of it was pulled from the Man in Black, and that is that is where you'll get the seriousness from the first issue from, and a little bit of the second, and some of the third, and then none of the fourth. Um, but yeah, the first and second issue were written about around January to March, and then I took about a 4 month break because I my mind was like blowing up with ideas and stuff, and I also had other school stuff. Um, so Terrible got drawn once I figured out actually how to draw him. Um, So once Terrifil was once I started doing the first issue, I started slowly writing the third one, and it took me forever, but I actually did it. And the Man in Black. This is another thing. The Man in Black was originally supposed to be released on October 7th of 2014, but since and Terrifil in August of 2015. But since the Man in Black was dropped, I gave Terrifil his spot of October 27th and put the Man in Black to a later position. Um, and of course, it's 2015 now, and nobody has seen anything about Terrifil. Again, a coloring issue. That's all that's holding me back. Anyways, so during the time of like the summer transitioning between the summer of 2014, I got a lot of progress done with Terrifil. I got the first issue penciled. I think I sort of started on the second one. I had finished my part. The story has a main story and a backup story, and the backup story was under development for a little bit longer. That's another reason why it didn't happen, because I didn't get it. I didn't get the backup story till like September or something, and by that time it's too late to ink it and color it. I would have I would have had to do 24 hours, 7 days a week for like the next 3 weeks in order to get the issue done. But so we're now in 2015, and we have the first issue's done. It's being colored right now. I've made a lot of progress, and it's just coming along really well. And what can you expect in 2015 Terrifil wise? Well, the first comic is coming out, If It Kills Me, and as you guys may have known, I'm also working on a Terrifil game with some very talented people. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be very neat. There's no guarantee it's actually going to be out this year. I actually need to focus on the comics more than I am on the other projects, such as this, the Terrifil show, the Terrifil game. So I need to focus on the comic series more. So no promises, but I can promise you that there will be more Terrifil episodes, because I do them on Saturday, and there will be more daily comics. So other than that, it's going pretty well. Expect Terrifil to be never die for a long time. And thanks for watching. Now you know why I named him, when I did it, and one other thing I'm forgetting. And you know the history of Terrifil. So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay Terrifil.